Howdy, my name is Ayla, and today I'm going to give you 50 facts about me and Domo, as it is one of the videos that Antipode is putting together. That I'm going to actually be wearing 50 different t-shirts or more whenever I'm giving you these facts, because I am obsessed with those daily t-shirt websites, and that composes of about 90% of my wardrobe. So my first fact is that I actually have way over 50 t-shirts, so I'm only going to be showing you a selection of what I have. So I'm going to start off by saying this is a trap, because I'm actually going to tell you what I hate, because the majority of these facts are what I love. Well, I guess the food that I really hate. I hate oatmeal, I hate grits, I hate Jello. I think it's because of the texture is the reason why I hate all that food. I'm really sorry if you like it, but it's disgusting to me. Please don't ever make me eat it, ever. Okay, so honestly though, I really do like a lot of foods. I actually love food so much, I majored in it in college. I studied agricultural and biological engineering. So that means I was a food and a farmer engineer. So my favorite equation is actually Bernoulli's equation. That is a really simple fluids equation, and whenever I get in a really big funk, sometimes I do it, or sometimes I do maybe like baby vectors, like a little bit of 3D calculus, just something, you know, very repetitive to get into my mind, to sort of pull me out of it. Or I end up watching Monsters, Inc. One weekend I actually ended up watching that 6 times. So whenever I watch TV shows, I love to marathon them, like try to cram them all into one weekend. The latest shows that I've watched whenever I marathon was A Certain Scientific Railgun. I also watched My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Except for whenever I watch Battlestar Galactica, because that's 45 minutes long, there's no way I could marathon that. So the only times that I cry absolutely every time I watch this scene in movies is the scene from Up, the very beginning one, and when, spoiler alert, Snape dies. I knew he was good. Ever since book 4. Ask my roommate. I once cosplayed as Cho Chang, but I got a lot of flack for cosplaying as her, even though I'm Scottish and Asian. So when I used to work at the Ren Fair, sometimes they would hand out favors. I never actually got a favor when I worked at the Ren Fair, but sometimes at shows I get favors, such as I've gotten LARP coin before, and I once got Twy from My Little Pony from a fan at SetsuCon. So apparently I like to keep tags all over my stuffed animals and my purses. I guess it must be a Beanie Baby thing. So I really like plushies. I think it's because I'm allergic to all animals. But I really like plushies. I actually used to have a pet hedgehog that I was allergic to the fur on her tummy, but I still loved her a lot, and would used to try to want to hold her and go bug 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 in her little spiky ball form, but I never did. But I really wanted to. So my favorite game to play on the phone is The Sims Free Play, and my favorite game to play on the DS is right now between Animal Crossing and Pokemon White 2. Luca from Chrono Triggers is my favorite character ever in a video game. Ever. My favorite game is Chrono Trigger, my favorite series is Disgaea, and my favorite platform is Pokemon. I actually bought the 3DS just for him. Katamari is actually one of my favorite games, but I'm really motion sick, so I can't play it for very long. That's also why I can't play first-person shooters, because I really suck at them too. Okay. Sometimes I like to say memes and act them out. Video, why you know have interesting facts. Meme all the things. Except for a look of discontent, usually I say Reddit eyes. I am a Karmanaut. No, I'm not. I'm actually really bad at posting at Reddit. I do pretty well when I post on buzz.com. It's a good belly dance forum site. I like all forms of belly dance, such as whether it's ATS or ITS, whether it's tribal fusion, or maybe it's cabaret, ethnic, something very modern. But my favorite form is Turkish Oriental. Duh. Domosaur, roar. Domosaur, roar. Roar. Sorry to Mario, but Marvel is much better. Duh. Out of manga, I would have to say that Yotsuba and Fruits Basket are my favorite series. Allie is one of my favorite comics. I even got Andy Rutten, who does the Allie comics, to do an entire Chrono Trigger sketchup of all the characters. So the most recent comics that I've been reading have been X-Men, My Little Pony, Morning Glories, because Morning Glories is supposed to be the new Runaways. It totally isn't. It's way different, but it's still a pretty good read. I have never been a bridesmaid or maid of honor, but I have been a flower girl before, when I was 20. I take a million photos, but I have a real hard time posting them. My favorite color is red, my favorite shape is a star, and my favorite animal is a tiger. I was president of my university Science Fiction and Fantasy Society. I was also a charter member and the vice president of my Asian Pacific American Caucus. I was a charter member of my university's belly dance club as well as the sergeant at arms. Did you know that if you take this Domo Claus and cover up his hat, he looks like he's wearing a fur bikini? I have lived in West Virginia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, and New York, as well as Hong Kong. I love dim sum. My apartment has its own Wikipedia page. No, seriously, it does. In 2012, I actually only spent 3 weekends in my apartment. The rest of them I spent visiting family, LARPing, going to conventions, dance practices, and of course learning more belly dance at conventions and workshops. Oh no, Totoro! So the last fact was actually pretty sad. So my New Year's resolution for 2013 was to make sure that I spent at least 1 weekend in my apartment. Well, I have failed 3 out of the past 7 months, but it's looking up after the summer con season, I think. So my LARP character in Wyvern Rising's name is Shibari, or Selvi Morat, and she is of Japanese descent and is a snake person. My character, Shibari, is the town's librarian, and she is also a little bit crazy because all she wants to do in life is make Sethan babies. Oh, and she's also an alchemist and a craftsman and the only armor maker in town right now for the past 4 months. I hope I don't die. I have 2 belly dance idols, Tana Valentine and Didem. So, my 2 favorite idols, I actually own some of their costumes that they wore before. I know. Didem usually likes to wear Bella costumes, while Tana Valentine has made a bunch of her own and has also bought a lot to specifically fit to her body. But my favorite costumer is, of course, my sister Marika. She makes all of Antipode's costumes. I know, it's crazy. My favorite costumes that she has made is probably the Yoshi hat, because it's so cute, and the Snape vest. I feel like Neo every time I put it on, because I know Kung Fu. Domo. I have never bought a new costume from a vendor or off the rack, except for whenever I went with Nara to Egypt, and we were able to get quite a few costumes for a really good price. Oh, and one other one from Geisha Moth, but her stuff is fabulous. I am 4'11", but don't worry, I've totally dated people from 4 inches all the way up to 8 feet. I hate zombies. Don't chase me at cons. 4. Usually whenever I play Heroes of Might and Magic, I play a sorceress or a black warlock. But sometimes I play a necromancer even though they have zombies, just because I like hearing the vampires go bleh, bleh, in the game. True fact, you can belly dance to dubstep. We have done it before in Harry Potter. And every other show. I originally got into belly dance when I was in high school. One of my friends, Lolo, could roll her belly because she took 1 or 2 lessons from one of her mother's friends. And no matter how many times we tried to find the class, we could never do it. So I actually really didn't start to uni, and I fell in love. My first teacher, Miss Tammy, always taught me to make sure that when you dance you wear zills, to make sure you get used to them and to play them. She was one of the most fabulous zill players that I've ever met. The same goes with my favorite week-long instructor that I've gone to recently, and that is Artemis Morat. You should totally look her up if you want to know anything about Turkish dance. So some of my favorite cosplays that I've ever done include Vanellope von Schweetz, Faye Valentine, Yotsuba, also every single female and some male characters from Fruits Basket, as well as Yuna from Final Fantasy X, the classic one, and probably Maya Fey from Phoenix Wright, and Tifa Lockhart. Probably every single cosplay I've ever done I really like. Chief from Trumpets! So in my hand is actually not a Totoro, but it is a gray screaming Domo. Because sometimes he goes, "Meh." Also, sometimes he makes the noise that little hedgehogs do. He goes, I put my finger in his mouth. And for number 50, I would just like to say this t-shirt was actually made by my friends Sam and Tyler. They do Glitter Forge Phoenix on Etsy, and I just wanted to say that I love it, and they're 2 of my really good friends. And of course, Domo knows pizza. Domo knows pizza. Bonus fact, Domo! Hey you guys, thanks for watching my 50 facts. This is Ayla from Antipode signing off, wishing you a Domo day. Please like and subscribe to all of our pages.